Hello, everyone. This is Cyber part of Tigray Media. Tonight, as usual, I have my analyst guest, Emna Arre and Barakat Kiros. So we're going to first go off in English. Then we're going to, in the segment, come back in Tigrinya. So for those of you who's been following what's happening in the last 11 and a half, almost 12 months, Tigray has been under attack. So our main topic tonight is the roadmap to Desie, that is TDF. And then we're going to talk about Resolution 445 in the U.S. House of Representatives, the passage of that or whatnot. And then we're going to talk about an article of genocide. Finally, Tigrayans who collaborated and worked with the Biltzegana party of the former state of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed party. He left the country, his Tigrayan origin. He was handpicked to certain positions that we're going to discuss about. And the strength and the ability of TDF. We'll briefly talk about the continued bombing civilians in Tigray, while the Ethiopian military is in total collapse. So with that, I'm going to start off with Imnare. So, Desie, why is it such a big deal for Abiy Ahmed to brag that if TDF were to capture Desie, it is the same as capturing Addis Ababa? And he has deployed massive troop after troop after troop. And we remember about 11, 12 days ago, he had about 117,000 soldiers that's supposed to go in north of Desie, traveling all the way to Mekelle was his initial idea. But I don't think they ever even crossed past Hike. I'm going to let you take over.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, and thank you, Barakat, and our audience. We're gonna try to explain what's going on in the failed former state of Ethiopia and what they are doing, the military personnel, and what's going on by the side of Tagaro, or especially TDF. First and foremost, after I think quite few weeks, the offensive war against TDF was started by Abiy Ahmed and his supporters, or his what do you call them, loyal soldiers, with no brain at all, with no responsibility. They don't have the respect for their own people even. So they have started an offensive all-out war against TDF, break through all the way from Wolo or Desie and the surrounding, all the way to Tigray, and capture back again Mekelle. Was actually, for a lot of us, it was a daydream. They were dreaming. They were daydreaming. Okay, now they started the war. By the part of TDF, it was not re-offensive war, but it was defensive most of the time. So all their attempts has been crushed. Okay, the war zone north of Desie after Hike actually is the most strategic place in that zone of war. If you remember, during the 17 years of struggle, I mean, the collapse of there, the final hit against I think Sostanya. I think they call it Sostanya, or the third division, which was led by Saraka Burhan, was dismantled in Tita, Haik, and Kutawa. These are the major fronts. These were the major fronts on that area. After the hit of Haik, Tita, and Kutawa, everything collapsed. Actually, after they hit Tita and Haik, few brigades of TPLF, they were already on the mountains of Desie and its surrounding. So everything was. Therefore, Tita and Haik and Kutawa, these are the most strategic places in that war. So their offensive was completely crushed. They couldn't penetrate. Of course, they couldn't, because the way they planned, the way they handled the war is already understood by TDF. They don't need any new intelligence. The TDF leaders, because they know them how they conduct their war. Therefore, it was like a joke for TDF leaders. Anyway, it has been crushed. After they crushed them, or after the defensive war, TDF have started an offensive war. Therefore, it started to attack them back, and then all the way from Haik back to Tita, which are the most strategic places, and Kutawer was completely destroyed. A lot of casualties. Actually, I maybe have heard it on different news. A lot of casualties. Many artilleries, dead and wounded. There are quite a number of captured soldiers too. Actually, very young, sadly, very, very young. They don't know what's going on. They have been deceived, have been told they are going to training for a lot of silly reasons. They put them on that war zone anyway. Therefore, TDF has successfully reversed the attack, re-attacked, and captured all the major strategic places. Now, a lot of people think whether TDF is within the city of Desie or not. There is no reason the soldiers or the mass of soldiers to be in the city of Desie. It has its own reason. We're not going to talk about it. Why they did it, we're not going to talk about it. Anyway, practically, Desie and Kombolcha is under the control of TDF, whether they like it or not. And with the recent news, actually, the university area and some places, there are few battalions which have been close, very close, and doing whatever they have to do. They are military operations, and totally Desie is under control. No question about it. Now, I'm going to take you back to historical facts.
Let me get Barakat in so we can make it back and forth, and then I'm gonna give you a chance to come back to it.
Yeah, I was trying to interject what happened during the Italian War, what Haile Selassie did.
Let's stay on the topic because we have a few to cover. So So sorry, Ata Barakat. So I know there's a lot of things that we want to talk about, so I want to really keep you guys on topic, and I want us to focus on the current event because it's really critical that the ongoing fight. There's a few Amhara activists actually falsely saying Tigray Defense Forces are using warplanes to bomb civilians in the Amhara region, which is contrary to what's happening. It's laughable, and so help me to understand. Help us to understand. I'm showing the city of Desie. Tigray Defense Forces are staying completely aware of not wanting to destroy the city of Desie, but they actually have not only surrendered Desie, but they actually bypassed Desie. In fact, I've actually Okay, so I know some people, some viewers will get upset with me, but last night I've actually spoken to some of the captured soldiers. Okay, I literally spoke to them on the phone, and I just simply I say, why are you guys fighting? What was the purpose behind it? And no matter how many of them you talk to, their story is the same. We had no idea what was going on. They told us they were going to give us some money. They told us junta was dead and ended, and that we were just coming to support some of the cities, but we had no idea that we were coming to the front line fighting. And we're talking about from 14 to 21-year-old people, 14 to 21. Most of them had no idea about politics, about military. They never served in the military. They were just picked up from the streets of Addis Ababa, Arsenegale, various areas of Ethiopia. And one of the young men, sadly, I spoke with, spoke very limited Amharic, which is the same as mine, because he's from the Oromo. So with that, what help us to understand why Ethiopia continues, the former state of Ethiopia continues to do false propaganda. And I just got a message that Abiy Ahmed just learned this evening that TDF has captured Desie. Help us to understand.
Wow. I don't know where to start to begin with, but one thing that we make sure any discussion pretending to any military, I think it is beyond my capacity, but I will be able to see or look or deduce from the actions that has been taken the last 2 weeks, the lightning speed of Tigray Defense Forces crushing the fortified soldiers' human wave. And Abiy Ahmed proudly talked about capturing some of those areas. It's just like, getting to Arat Kilo. Repeatedly, such kind of absolute trash terms has been used to inflame, stir up emotion against the Tigray Defense Forces, and it didn't work. So Wollo is a very important strategic area for military in terms of route to Kombolicha and resource. And it's also, don't forget, it is a home for those for lifetime vice president or whatever his title. What is his name?
Damaka.
Damaka Mokonda. So yeah, so
a lot of them.
Yeah, so with the leadership, there is so much, to grasp in terms of, this Pravdo and Pravdo that they have to put a line up the Tigray defenses cannot cross. This is the last ditch for us, sort of, over and over. I would like to focus on two things. Who are those people who are fighting and how they are ended up there? It is very important as well, because this is also tied with the House Foreign Affairs Committee resolution about child soldiers. I'm glad that you brought it.
Yeah,
on your discussion, Mike. First of all, those people who are coming to the war front are underage. Some of them are kidnapped soldiers, and they don't have enough training. And some of them, they have about 4 weeks training, and they are pushed to the war front like a human wave. They don't even know what they are fighting for. What they know is they keep told that the war is over. The war is not over. So some of them, to be honest, they don't have no idea or clue. Just looking from the interview that has been on many of the social media, they are underage. And one of the irony on the House Affairs Committee, we, the Tigrayans, are the one who are being accused of. They can't prove one thing that we have, except, when they were resting in some areas, kids will come and they try to emulate, and they have taken a picture. And that picture, without any substantial proof, we've been accused of, putting child soldiers in one of the resolutions. So, as far as the strategic interest of this area, I think it is the war is over after Wollo or the Desie and Kapolisha. I don't see any. So this is the last line of defense for the Prosperity Party led by the fascist regime of Abiy Ahmed, because first, it is strategic important. Second, the people who have been consuming all this kind of negative information about Tigray Defense Forces, now they have seen them and proved them. Don't leave your area. Stay there. We are not against you. We are against the Ethiopian Defense Forces and the vicious Amhara and the mercenary Eritreans as well. I mean, on the last front, they tried to save some of the Eritrea, some of the Ethiopian Defense Forces and the Amhara, and they have also been captured, some of them from the Eritrean mercenary, and killed as well. So they were not successful turning the tide. So I think this is being written in our eyes, the last chapter for the Prosperity Party. And believe me, Mike and Imnara, after this, within 2-3 days, it is over. I mean, it's not only the military defeat that we are talking about. The people. I mean, one of the greatest assets for any is the people. The people now are getting understood. The disciplined, well-trained army is not what they heard through propaganda for the last almost 11 months. It is a people's effort. It is people's support. It is a peaceful. So, in a short, coming back to your question, I think for me, the war is over. Once you have combined your military skill and convincing people that you are not against them, what do the Prosperity have on their side? I think people are going to question him. They already started questioning him, and there is a lot of betrayal. On the third level, look, the vicious Amhara Fanno, what they are doing to Oromos. They killed 4 military Oromo origin, as we heard it from social media. And for people who are trying to flee, they are killing them in a great number. So I will see also a friction that has been simmering for too long. Now it is all war. So those 3 things, if you combined, Mike and Ibn Arab, there is nothing to fight for. You lost the war right there. Now there is no place to hide behind any skirts. So this is the way I see it myself. This is the last ditch for his survival, and his time is approaching to grasp the last air. Maybe he will fly, and he had repeatedly said that he's going to leave this country once we pushed a little bit further. And the good news is, as a result, there are some captured soldiers are being Tigrayan origin soldiers are also being out of prison. That's a good thing, and I like to see more. This is happening. So because like in Sidama, they don't want to associate, like Sidama and other nationalities. They don't want to be held accountable, because they see an opportunity to redeem themselves or to clean their hands from this fascist regime. So this is the way I see it, Mike, in general.
Thank you. Well, listen, I think you explained it very well. What I will say to the last point you made is that Tagaru blood is thick. It's thicker than water. No murderer will wash the blood of our brothers and sisters off their hand. That is a warning to all those who cross over to Tigray. We did not cross over to any territory in Eritrea and Ethiopia, Amhara region, Afad, until we were attacked. So you can't tell me, for our fellow Tagaru all over the world who are getting a little ticked off because we are saying Eritrean forces came to Tigray and rape women, girls, slaughter young men. This is not a blame. Rather,
it is a
we're
fact.
not making enemies because we didn't cross over and attack civilians in Eritrea. In fact, the borderline between Tigray and Eritrea are families through marriage, through blood, through many, many ways. So at no point have we, Tagaru, stood up and say, we hate Eritreans, because that's not our nature. That's not what we do. But what we do is we bring the truth. And to some Tagaru, the truth hurts, I guess, sometimes. And so learn how to swallow the bigger pill. But let me go back to what I have on the screen, and then we're going to come back to Berkat. You brought up some very good points. I want Ibn Ara to have a chance to talk about the beheading of two of the Tagaru soldiers, the Oromo leadership within the federal troops. Actually, I don't know if you guys saw the video that the Amhara Fana and Amhara militia actually kill about 6 of them, and 20 something were arrested. And now what we're learning is that a lot of the Fana and the Amhara militia is actually killing the federal troops to take weapons away from them because they have no weapon to fight TDF. So it's, Abiy Ahmed, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw the cartoon video the other day, actually he thought he was calling Isaias Afwerki of Eritrea, but he called he called Mugwe instead. So he told him Tigray Tesa'ar. So so he's trying to wash the hand. But so let me be serious though. So this is the House Resolution 445. It is the 117th Congress.
Yeah.
And it was the first session. So Karen Bass of California had this in her hand for months and months and months. And I know some of you are going to be upset with me. I personally do not like this woman because she's done so much damage for Tigray. No matter, to all of you, my brothers and sisters out there working hard and just thinking that she's going to do the right thing and stand for young Black girls in Tigray and call genocide in Tigray genocide. Good luck to all you, my brothers and sisters out there. But let me say this, as an African-American woman, I am going to continue to say, Karen Bass of California, shame on you for not calling Tigray genocide. Call it is genocide, please. So if you, those of you who are like reaching out to Karen Bass of California, supporting her, tell her to call the genocide in Tigray genocide. Tell her that the rape of young girls in Tigray is rape. Rape is no exception. That more than 10,000 Tigrayan women and girls have been reported rape, and they were raped by the Amhara militia, the Amhara Fana, the federal troops of the former state of Ethiopia, and the Higdef or the Shabiya of Eritrea. So, resolution. So, condemning all violence and human rights abuses in Ethiopia and calling on the government of Ethiopia and the government of the state of Eritrea to remove all Eritrean troops from Ethiopia, which is Tigray, and for all belligerents in the conflict, including the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front, and Amhara Regional Forces, and other armed groups, to cease all hostilities, protect human rights, allow unfettered humanitarian access, and cooperate with independent investigation of credible atrocities allegations. It's genocide. It's not atrocity. Let me just be clear. That is flaw within the resolution itself, and the TPLF, or the Tigray Liberation Front, were attacked in governing their home state as a party. So for that to be even in this category, it's a problem for me. But when we piece it together, Barakat, you and I talked about this the other day, and you read this, you wrote about it. I've gone through it. I don't want to spend too much time reading every line, but there are a number of errors in these, or flaws in these. In fact, it blames the Tigrayan Defense Forces, or TPLF is what the term they use, for being the victim and trying to defend the atrocities in Tigray. So Umnare, you followed through this resolution for a while as well. You and I have spoken a while ago about it. You're fully familiar with it. So I'm going to let you jump in, let you weigh in, and then we're going to move on. I've got a couple other articles that I want to share with you guys and with the audience.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna put it the case about this resolution in a very short and precise, probably precise, yeah, much precise. The whole content, we just taking it because we don't want the American government, the whole American government, and the whole American people be angry or be on the other side of the history. So we want the Americans to be our side. That's the only thing which is binding us to be cool down. The content is totally biased. Could be because of Karambas, Senator Karambas, or maybe other politicians. There are some politicians which are very shameful. You mentioned it. It didn't mention about genocide. For example, it talks about TPLF as one of the belligerents in the war, but it didn't mention about OLA, Oromo Liberation Front. Oromo Liberation Front is fighting against TDF. It didn't mention about the Afar resistance. It didn't mention about the Agum resistance. It didn't mention about the command, which has been killed brutally by the Amhara Fanos long ago before Tagaro. Okay? Therefore, the whole content of the resolution, it just sides with the Ethiopian government. It's a shame. The facts are in front of them. You mentioned Barakat, good example. Child soldiers. Yes, they have taken some pictures of Tagaru, which were very happy to see the gallant TDF fighters. But they were not enlisted. They were not taken to the war front. There were girls who want to fight, but they've been advised, told to go back home. That they are young. The elders are telling them that. And it's not in our culture to bring children to the fight. Never. Never in the history of Tagalog. On the rivers, the soldiers themselves, the captured POWs of Ethiopian soldiers, are testifying, are telling the truth, how old they are, how they brought them to the training center, how they brought them to the fighting zone. But they didn't mention it. So totally, the content and the message of the resolution is just, but we don't want America to be angry. You know, we don't want to lose America. We need the support of America, whether we like it or not, because America should be in our side. Because America influenced the world. That we. Therefore, the only
Don't give that to Abiy Ahmed, though.
Yeah, but at the same time, as have Mike mentioned it, I have the right to call whoever has shame on him, call him shameful, Karen Bass, yes. As a black woman, she should have stand with Tegaru young girls, which has been raped by 20 soldiers, gang raped. Shame on her, yes. Now and then, shame on you, Karen Bass. And all of Tegaru, don't be scared to tell somebody if he's shameful. He's a shameful person. She's not better than anybody. She's not better than American people. We're trying to make American people understand what's going on. We're trying to bring the facts. We actually ask you go and investigate. Don't listen to us. Why didn't you listen to Nima Al-Bagher, the CNN journalist? Why didn't you listen to her? She's an American. She's a journalist. She's a professional. Therefore, maybe Senator Karen Bass, maybe she's bribed by the con artist in Los Angeles, Ethiopian con artist. That's what we think. Therefore, I'll call it shame on you. Yes, shame on you again and again and again. Therefore, this is my take on the resolution. We don't want to lose America at the same time. We want to put it down.
Let me interject myself here. It is a very important that it has to be understood because such a blatant, press release from the honorable Congresswoman. With all the respect, we must disagree with her characterization of the conflict in Ethiopia. And we want to be clearly understood that we are not selecting facts to fit our argument and the conclusions thereafter. We do not either undermine her effort, but we categorically disagree her assessment knowingly or unknowingly. I say that, however, strongly disagree with so many of the categorically implied statement that she presented, which is no different than what had been preached about the war during the last 11 months. We are opposed to the script narrative designed or written or perpetuated by the Washington, D.C. and LA Amhara elites, which we believe was a significant factor inciting the ethnic conflict evolved from a difference to violence. If she thinks she is an honest broker, as honest conflict resolution, she would have framed seemingly irreconcilable position of the antagonistic and the purpose reasonable options of.
Actually, here about what I believe. She hate truth.
Yeah,
she wanted this to the American public. No, he's deceiving. She will be accountable sooner or later. Trust me. Baraka, hold on.
I am rebutting.
Sooner or later, this one will be over. She will be held accountable because she supported a genocide. A genocide has been committed on Tegaru. This is the truth. You never be scared of her.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
If you are angry, by getting angry,
I'm not being angry. I'm passionate because I can see the truth. I can see the truth.
I am going to respond to
She's
her.
not better than nobody. She's not going
to help us.
Her life is politics. She cannot play on the life of Tegaru. Tegaru life matters.
Such kind of, it's not going to help us. We just have to make sure that she is wrong. And we have so many evidences to prove from CNN, from survivors. We have so many from.
That's what I'm exactly saying. That's what I'm exactly saying. She is against truth. She don't love truth. She's a liar.
It's not going to help us.
Yeah,
it's not going to help us. We just have to present our facts on the ground. Let me go one by one.
Because we beg her, because we are cool down, she's not going to listen to us. In front of her, there are a lot of facts. She don't want to listen. She don't want to read it. She denied it. Truth is a truth. She had two naked eyes. She's a human being. She's a black woman. Tegaru have been mass murder. Okay?
Yeah.
It's no brainer. You don't need any facts. In front of her, everything is in front of her.
I disagree
You
on it.
don't lie.
I will disagree. You
Yes,
know,
no problem.
by screaming and by getting angry, we're not going to solve anything. There are some people who are deaf. They don't want to hear what's going on. They don't want to see what's happening in the ground. What they call is constituency. Her constituency are Amharas and Eritreans. And she is trying to be in between. She wants to be politically correct. And there is no space for politically correct.
There is no political correctness on genocide, my brother. It's genocide, period.
Can I
She
finish?
wants to call it genocide. Genocide has been committed. We're going to prove it, whether she likes it or not, whether she supports us or not.
Can I finish?
She's going to be ashamed. So
Okay.
she hates truth.
It's not going to help us in such kind of characterization. Actually, we are working with a group of people that we're going to rebut. She is not the final giving verdict or judge. There are 500 something Congress people.
So I'm not addressing to her. I'm making my point to the other people.
Hold on, I'm gonna give Berka 2 more minutes. I'm gonna jump in. Go ahead, Berka. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes.
I try to focus on rebuttal. The point is one by one. Now we are just debating to express our feeling rather than.
Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
So I want to go one by one. First, she talks about our alliance with OLA or SHINE, an armed faction of Oromo Liberation Army, to terminate, which is irony. And she's talking about the 500 trucks that has been given one way fuel in Tigray that they were not able to get back as they are held hostage. All the things are wrong because CNN has done lack of fuel. They are not be able to return to their original destination. So all the accusations that she is making on the resolution doesn't have fact. So our responsibility to the other esteemed Congress people is to prove that she is wrong. Absolutely. The case is beyond her. I don't care about her. But it is a position that she held, trying to twist the facts, what's going on in Tigray.
Oh, now we are.
That brings you back to Amnara's point.
That's what I'm exactly saying, my brother. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank you for agreeing on that.
What we are trying to, we have to make sure the points are articulated one by one and rebutted. Because if we're gonna scream, she is gonna do that and this and that, is not gonna help us.
No, hold on. My Barakat, she's not gonna help us. We don't expect any help from her because she is the truth.
We are right.
We are addressing, Barakat, my brother, we are addressing the facts are at the hand. Other Congress people, the other decision maker has to see the truth. Forget her. So we don't have to beg. We don't have to beg her.
So
we're talking the truth. We're talking the truth. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
I'm not screaming at you. I'm just telling the truth.
Yeah, but the discussion here we have is to highlight some of the deficiency points that she's trying to cover. We have to expose it. That's all the discussion is all about. It's not about her. The discussion is expose her one by one. Like, child soldiers, like the trucks, like the relationship we have with other rebels. All the points has to be underscored. That's what I am here on the discussion about her evil intent and other things. I don't care really. Nobody cares. But
no, my brother Barakat,
yeah.
when we bring this topic, when we talk this topic, we have an audience. The audience are going to listen, right? I'm not talking to her now. She's not important at all. I'm saying let's forget her. She cannot see the truth. She hates the truth. That is the galvanizing point in the story. So, what do we have? Those who seek for the truth, we provide them. Let's
Yeah.
work with others.
But
That's the point I'm saying.
yeah, on this discussion, we are not providing them. We are just taking a sound bite. For instance, when it is concerned about the trucks when the child is dying every 2 minutes, she is only concerned about
People which are against truth, they have to feel ashamed. There's no wrong about it. She's a shameful person. She cannot see the truth. A genocide committed on Tagaru. End of story.
Let me interject here. So here's the scoop. I understand Barakat's point, and I'm with you on the energy level that you bring in, Mnare. So, but here's where I stand. Okay. I know many of the people that are working with her. Okay. They're very good people. Okay. And they're people that I respect and I trust. And they're working hard for Tigray to make it right. But this is where Barakat may not agree with me. Congresswoman Karen Bass of California has done more damages for Tigray, for Tigrayan women, for Tigrayan young men and boys than what we are talking about. Only about a month ago, when she went to Addis Ababa, we have spoken in our Zoom meetings and our various platforms that she wasn't even worth our time to talk about. But what we know is that we got people chasing her and saying, hey, we really... So this woman lost her position where she was at the highest in the U.S. Congress. She's now working her way into becoming a Los Angeles city mayor. So my struggle here to all my beloved Tagaru brothers and sisters out there, yes, Ato Barakat Hawi, it does not serve us any purpose for us to be shouting, yelling, and angry. I agree with you 100%. So that is not a criticism to you, my brother, Ibn Are. I love your passion. I love your energy. But sometimes one of the most successful that I've been part of with you too, and many Tagaru in the diaspora, is we as Tagaru have been very peaceful protesters, very good at what we say and how we do. Our error has been very small compared to our people being victimized. The three of us here and the hundreds of thousands of Tagaru diaspora throughout the world have not spoken to their loved ones for 12 months. For 12 months, we have not spoken to our family in Tigray. We don't know how many of our family members are dead or alive or suffering as we speak right now. How many of our young cousins, nieces, and nephews are in the front line fighting? The little sister the other day, she's 20-something years old. She walked into the Abiy Ahmed's army and threw a grenade into the tank and burned the tank. When it exploded, sadly, it took her arm away, and she said it took her 20 minutes to realize that she had lost her arm because she had so much passion. She still was carrying her weapon, and she didn't realize that she actually lost her arm. And now she's leading the front line, encouraging young men and young women, saying, it is worth of the fight for Tigray. So I feel the pain. We, the three of us here, are fighting for the same cause. But when we do the fight, it's okay to have the disagreement, but in the end, we will never, the one thing that I have made a commitment and promise to my people and to Tigray is we as Tagaru will never turn around and walk away from each other, because at the end of the day, our cause is one. That is
one point to make. I'm saying these words, it's not out of the blue. It's not because I want to be angry, okay? When something is not right, if you don't have emotion, if you don't have the anger, it's going to be affecting, okay? Number two, this woman, a lot of Tagaru have tried to contact her, make her understand, be nice to her. They have tried all possibilities. We talked about this one on Zoom meeting, right? You remember? Everything has been tried. What else do we have to do to make her understand what is going on in Tigray? What I'm saying is, everything is in her front, in her face, right there. It's a truth. How can you deny a truth? Unless you are a liar, unless you have some special interest. That's it. Genocide has been committed. Hold on, let me finish, my brother. So, I'm just talking this one out of passion because she's lying. She is against truth. Okay, my point is, I'm not addressing her. She's not our topic. Now, we're laying down all the truths are in our hands. We're working on it for sure. And above all, what we are asking is, don't trust me. Go yourself, investigate. Okay. The journalist went to Tigray. She investigated. Nima Al-Bagar, she's an American journalist, no journalist. Why is not she taking it?
I think, are you coming back to Barakat's point now? Because that's what he's saying. There are facts out there that we need to help her to understand. We need to present it to her because she has people in the office working for her from the Amhara region that are not giving her the information that we know, that you guys and I know.
My point is, a lot of effort has been made from our Tagaro brothers. She has been paid all the facts, but she don't want to admit or she don't want to take it.
I'm going to let Berka jump in.
This is my assessment.
All right, Berka, jump in.
Yeah, I'm very quiet and listening. It's always nice to agree and disagree, but at the end, we are all Tagaro. It is for our people well-being. It is our well-being for our nation. There is no personal stake at this stage. On the second level,
I can be a very angry person.
on the second level,
people.
On the second level, just Mickey, if I want to say, for me at this stage, every Tigray is my brother and my sister. That's the way it is, because we are being declared for genocidal. So I'm not gonna think about my brother and sister. The whole Tigray people are my brother and sister. It is a loss of one Tigray. It is a loss of a humanity. That's the way we see at this stage. So one thing that we've been long enough to witness in this country. This country is not guided by moral principle, rather than it is guided by a law, quote unquote. I always say, you get due process in this country, but you don't get justice. That you have to understand. Justice is where money talks.
Nah.
Well, you can disagree. I can give you 100,000 examples how money can help you. If you have the best lawyer,
a lot of people with integrity, honesty, and then they do it.
Let me finish. So
now all people are.
Let me finish. I listen to you.
Go ahead.
You get only in this country due process. You don't get justice. Believe me, I lived here for 35 years, and I understand. Though, if we're gonna see this congresswoman from moral point of view, then the whole argument fails. What they are trying to do is they have what they call constituency. This constituency is almost serving one group of people, or
we can call her. She's a pig anyway. Don't worry about it. I said she's a pig. That's it. You're telling me that. Maybe she's bought by money. Maybe you're right. She's a pig.
Well, as I said, I'm gonna come to my origin of. Okay,
I'm not calling nobody.
Here.
I'm not calling nobody a pig. No, because he's arguing the truth.
No, let me see, brother. He said for one of my statement, O.J. Simpson has got away because he has money. So that's the point I tried to make. Thank you, Mr. P. Or this is the point. So the reason that I am bringing here
He was caught. He was caught and was in prison too.
let me say, let's hear each other. The point that I brought is for the fact that we have to do more. We have to have.
I agree on that.
We have to do more.
We have to do more.
Reach out to many Congress people. Suffice to say, we don't have to stop because she says this and she says that. She's just only one out of 500 plus Congress people. So each of us actually
On her.
I'll take.
What I follow on her is Barakat. I'm sorry to interrupt you. What I follow on her is shaming her. That's it. I'm not gonna beg her.
I disagree.
He's against truth.
I disagree.
No problem with that.
Anybody who disagree, we are not going to shame him or shame her.
It's not a disagreement, Barakat. Now,
No, I mean, just
out of your lane.
yeah, this is me. I don't believe in that shaming. Congress people.
She has to be ashamed because shameful person. I'm saying it. I'm responsible for my words. She cannot see the truth. She cannot see the genocide over Tagalog, the rape, the mass murder.
I will try to convince other Congress people.
I'm not mentioning other Congress people. Why are you mixing it up, Barakat? I'm saying
After the fact is not after the individual, because there will be like 100 of them.
Okay, no, okay, we're coming back again. The facts are in her table. A lot of Tagar have tried the best they can. They have approached her. They give her all the everything.
We have never done enough. I am following through, and there is already contact established that I am not talk openly in the air. So, I mean, there is always an opportunity to make a room. There is always, I believe, the more you do work.
So let's put it the way, Barakat. Okay, on this topic, you can try your best to convince her, to make her understand what's going on. I'll shame her.
No, I said earlier, it's not about her. I am looking at the other 500.
We're not mentioning other people. Other people
is going to say.
Other people, we are doing what we have to do, and we have to do more. I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah, we have to.
About her, she has to feel ashamed because she is against truth. The truth is in her table.
I mean, we have to.
Or she is a pig.
We have to pass beyond. That's what I'm trying to make a point. We have to convince other Congress people. We have to reach out other who are helping to advance our constituency, be it in your state, be it in my state, be it in Oregon. So we have a lot of work.
Other Congress people, I'm not mentioning other Congress people, my brother.
Let me finish. I will make my point. What is helping us now is to collect more evidence to make her wrong. We have to collect more evidence and prove. This is what we should do as a diaspora people to help our cause. Otherwise, spending time shaming, insulting Congress people, I don't believe it's going to help us. Let's do, you and me and Mike, to have more evidences that she is wrong. And the evidences are right there. That's what we have to do.
Hold on, I'm not
against that.
I feel both of you guys. So here's how I'm gonna put it, because we gotta move from this. We still have another hour that we have to come back in Tigrinya, so don't forget.
Okay.
So we will have the opportunity in Tigrinya to explain to our people in our native language as well.
You love to talk anyway.
That's right. So that's right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You have to be straightforward.
Yes, sir. So for those of you who are
one more. You guys have to be kind to me because I am
yes, and thank you. So yes, while we are doing a cyber part of Tigray hard talk, actually Berkat today was, he was patched up earlier, and he is still showing his energy, his courage to fight for Tigray. So if you guys don't really understand what it takes for our people to be genuine fighters, this is all love, because all the three of us here and many of you out there, we're going to see each other in person in Washington, D.C. in about a week and a half. So for those of you who are confused why Imna Ara is interrupting me and whatnot, or what, I'm just, so it's all, we have agreed to disagree. So Karen Bass of California, what Barakat, our brother Barakat is saying is this. We need to, so he understands, I think he agrees with us that she is blindfolded. She's ignoring the fact on the ground.
Stick on it.
You cannot deny genocide in Tigray. So he's agreeing on that. However, I think I am understanding what his point is, because I know the people that are working very hard without getting into detail, because I do know a lot what Ato Berkat also is talking about, what's happening. So without going any further detail, the people that are working effortlessly, what they are trying to do is trying to neutralize her and then have her understand, so that the very people that we, like you say, you and many of us have tried to reach out to her, that our letters, our contacts have been blocked by the secretary working in her office. Two of them. By the way, I spoke to both of them multiple times. Yeah, at least they did not hang up on me, because I spoke to them not in Amharic but in English. I was very polite to them. So they when I talk with them, they didn't know that I was Tigrayan American. They actually thought I was just American. So they took the time to discuss with me about what's going on throughout the region, and I slide right into Tigray, of course, and told them if that was their mother was like somewhere in the jungles and they don't know if she was alive or dead, or their little sister. I think they got sympathetic and understood. But the point here is that, look, we know, the three of us agree that she did a lot of wrong for our people. Now, the question is, she's a Black woman. So as a Black woman, she's part of the Black caucus. She's been in politics for a long time. So perhaps if we convince her, if we bring her the facts on the ground that she is walking over, and let her know also her office is an issue for us to reach her, but we got people now that can reach her, get the points straight to her versus getting our points cut out in the middle. Maybe perhaps for her, she will come to her senses, and really what we're saying when they're telling her it's a lie, no genocide is taking place in Tigray, the video that you show, and I have a video that was sent to me by an Eritrean woman, and this Eritrean man talking, Mona Lisa Abraham, was actually, with the time that she lost her limbs, Eritrean troops were not in Tigray. And I'm going to show that clip to you guys in Tigrinya when we go to the Tigrinya part of the show. You guys are going to see that. So we have a lot of false propaganda paid by the Eritrean dictator and by Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia. So yes, I think the money talk thing, I get it. Yes, I mean that's why. Hey, O.J. Simpson, some people are saying he got away with murder. I don't know. Hey, I was in high school. I just remember that white Bronco running in Los Angeles, California when I was in Fresno. So anyway, so that's kind of, I think,
But also, Mike, what's happening right now, even those Amhara elites who are supposed to be her supporters, they are crying. What? I mean, because she's trying to be in the middle, a victim and victimized. She's trying to put it in terms of political correctness. So we are saying that we are victims. We should not be on equal scale with the victimizer, and that's
alligator steer.
But the Amhara actually are upset with her now because they did not want her to allow the House Resolution 445 to proceed. They asked her to hold it back, and one of the points they made was that they told her 4.5 million Amhara are under Tigrayan Defense Force.
That they want. See, now you're talking. You see?
Yeah. So
that's anyway. The point here is because she denied them, not include what they ask. Doesn't mean that she's helping us. They are on alligator tier. Okay, they are crying while killing you. They know she is by themselves, but she don't want to go far. that much far. She don't want to get exposed that much.
Well, she put us on the same scale.
Yeah, but hold on. But what she have done so far has caused a lot of damage on us, especially
Correct.
on dying Tagals.
We agree
We're
on
not
that.
talking about
No
TPLF.
doubt. So
She can talk whatever she
look,
want about TPLF. Okay,
I have-
we're not talking
I
about
have
the
promised.
politicians.
I have promised.
Our people Tagal.
Go ahead.
All right.
Here's what we're
Therefore,
gonna do.
she's blindfolded. Okay, I'm gonna say Barakat can try 10 times, 1,000 times to make her understand you. I bet you she's not. You can waste your time. Hold on. I'm not gonna say to you, don't try it. Because I know Tagaru who have tried a lot. Respectfully. Very respectfully.
Yeah, she's not the final arbiter on this resolution. There is a Congress and there is a Senate.
Correct.
So we have a lot of work to do to convince us.
True. I agree on that. We agree on that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let us not waste more of our energy and money and time for this woman, because that's where I disagree. But I know we love our brothers and sisters out there, everybody who's watching us. So here's what we're gonna do. For those of you who are kind enough to join us for this first hour, unfortunately, I have to end the program, the English version right now, but we will come back በትግርኛ ተመሊስና ክናቱና ካተልና ዘለኹም ዓለም ምሉእ ዘለኹም ኣሕዋትና ተመሊስኩም ጆይን ክትገብሩና ሓደ 5 ደቂቃ ዕረፍቲ ክንወስድ ኢና እዚ ዕረፍቲ ወሲድና ከም ብሓድሽ ኢና ክንኣቱ ካብኡ ሓደ ቪድዮታት ኣለውና እምና ዓረ ኢድዮ ሓፍ የብለ ልርኢ ኣለኹ መዕፀዊ
we didn't address Kasa Goromskal's article. I think that was very important. Maybe it could be an input for the senators, because he is a first-hand testimony. He clearly described all the details. Very excellent article, and he is a first-hand witness.
Yeah.
At the same time, because they knew he's going to expose them, they were chasing him. He ran away from Ethiopia. He's somewhere, I don't know where he's residing.
Kenya.
Now.
He's in Kenya.
Now. Therefore, he's the first-hand testimony. All the good American senators, all the truth-loving American politicians, they can contact this person. He was part of PP, the Prosperity Party. He was part of them, and then he exposed all the truth in details. Actually, at the end, he have mentioned he felt that the Western world have neglected Tagar. That's his final statement. So it's very important. And
Yeah,
we can use it as an input.
prior to that, he was. I listened his interview as well. That he has been a lot of social media. This is evidences that we have to collect because he was highest ranking official representing the Prosperity Party, and he has seen it through his own eyes, be it in Aksum, be it in Shire, be it in other areas. I think it is a very worthy witness who have been on ground zero. I couldn't disagree. And this is such a very resourceful asset. It will help us to prove that genocide has taken place in Tigray from the horse of the mouth, as they say. So yeah, it's good. It's good. And
so to clarify for the audience, the title is former Tigray interim government top officials say genocide undoubtedly committed on Tigray. But this guy was actually not with the Tigray people. He was against his own people. He was dancing and serving the very people who committed genocide. So when he talks in the article about the genocide took place, particularly in Aksum and the various cities throughout Tigray, was that he had about 240 federal guards with him, and at checkpoints, he had to negotiate with Eritrean forces.
Especially when he was coming from Shire to
to
enter
Aksum.
Aksum.
From Shira to Aksum, yeah.
Imagine. So, but then
All
we were
around Adwa, Adhafaro.
right. And so this article was written today, October 27, 2021. So when this was sent to me as a link earlier, this afternoon by good friends on Messenger, and he talks on even the specific
Excellent.
events that happened in November.
Every detail.
Right. So the attack took place on November 4th, 2020. So this was literally 25 days after Tigray was under attack. Eritrean troops are already massively all over Tigray, including Aksum, where the Aksum massacre took place. And reading the article, it literally, so it talks on November 30th, they were allowed to enter into the town, which is Aksum. It talks about Governor Meskel and his team were stopped by Eritrean army a few kilometers from Aksum. They were forced to stay at night in a place called Gobudura at the outskirts of Aksum. On November 30th, they were allowed to enter to the town. They had about 240 federal commandos protecting him, of course, as Ethiopian troops because he was serving the unelected prime minister of the former state of Ethiopia. So he goes on to talk how he got, after negotiating with the Eritrean mercenaries who committed the genocide in Aksum and throughout the rest of Tigray, that he negotiated with them to allow him to enter. And according to his statement, he saw between 800 to 1,100
1,100, yeah,
bodies. An estimated
They
number.
with the ground in Aksum.
And it talks about how his team continued from Aksum to travel to Adwa, where Eritrean were still there, and of course found Alameda Textile Factory, which was completely destroyed and looted by the Eritrean army. Then recently was bombed by the Ethiopian Federal Air Force.
Yeah, what really amazes me is his detailed diary. I call it like diary. And really, this can be proven by satellite evidences because of the movement. And he just laid down a very precise information. I call it, this is like a gold mine in terms of who was there at one point and what kind of atrocity has committed. It can be collaborated with satellites, with satellite evidence, with at the same time with Eritrean or Ethiopian Defense Forces movement as well. So I am really impressed about his memory, regardless of what did or what didn't. But this is really very helpful, and I hope a lot of young people like him will come forward to give a witness, because without collaborating witness, it is so hard to prove genocide has taken place, even though we know it. So whatever, Garameskal is his name. Yeah, and he did a good job on this.
And he also talked about
the GIS testimony. There is a one department at Maqale University. There is a young Tigrawiti who she have documented all the GIS data, and every detail you can correlate it. So we can ask, or they can ask themselves, and they can get it from Maqale University. Last time she was on an interview with Aksumite media, I think 2 months or 3 months ago. So we can include that one with this one, and
one of the things that impressed me is that we all suspected in my cadre that many of our fellow Tigrayans had been butchered and massacred. So when he was trying to go to my cadre, they prevented him. And I heard them saying, we should not allow him until we buried all those victims. So this is really a proven, like slam dunk, that this has been done and perpetuated by Amhara militia. Because always my cadre, they try to perpetuate it that it happened by, they don't even call Tigray Defense Forces. They have a name of a local area, just a name of the local area trying that the genocide has taken place. So that's really a very important clue that this really happened by Fano, and we can present it as evidence, because if they have something to hide, always they try to prevent people until they bury all, important documentation what is taking place in terms of the genocidal act perpetrated by the Muhammadan vicious militia. So that really impressed me as well.
And he clearly stated that it's a deliberately planned genocide. Very powerful word. And he's right. He has to say it. He's saying it. Everybody is agreeing it is a deliberate, well planned.
So listen to this. So I want to point this out before we exit here. It talks, Government believes that rape and sexual assault were deliberately used as a weapon of war. Government say that his bureau has received reports of 1,553 women raped in Mekelle and surrounding it alone. His bureau estimates that more than 110,000 women have been raped and gang raped by Ethiopian, Eritrean armies and Amhara forces. Government say appalling gang rape of Catholic nuns in Wukro by Eritrean and Ethiopian soldiers were reported to his bureau, and the police commission, after 3 days of primarily investigation, the perpetrators were identified. He said, unfortunately, he added, Ethiopian and Eritrean military commanders refused to hold them accountable. A week later, the soldiers went again and gang raped them and took every penny the children's village under the church had. Government said 4,800 private and regional government vehicles have been taken by the Ethiopian government from Mekelle alone. The number of vehicles taken by Eritreans army and Amhara forces is estimated more than 12,000. Similar, Eritrean, Ethiopian, Amhara governments have taken between 240 of the 269 ambulances Tigray had. There you have it. So congratulations to my few Tagaru who you criticized me for saying Eritrean troops have damaged Tigray so much. Amhara militia, Amhara Fana. Amhara has opened a floodgate into Tigray, and this is what happened to our people. More than 110,000 women in Tigray, women and girls, raped. More than 110,000. So, if this doesn't wake you up, my brothers and sisters, and if nitpicking one word or two words that I say negatively makes you feel uncomfortable, I'm so sorry, but I don't know what else I can say.
Look, facts are facts. There is no political correctness when it comes to facts. And things happen, and we have to say it as it is. For how long are we going to bury for something that will have a future cooperation with this fascist regime? We are after the system, not we are not after the people who are a victim of their own circumstance. So we are, trying to always underline between the people and a regime that's not kind to its people is coming to our home, to our area, to our disrupting the way of our life, killing, torturing, looting, burning. If we cannot talk about this, when are we going to talk about that?
Amen.
I don't understand. I mean, this is really rubbish. This is rubbish. How many?
All right, let's join on the other end. We're going to end our segment here, but we'll be right back in our usual Tigrinya program, that will be more heated, and we'll have more to say because we're going right back to our native language. So بقانقوا أنا هنزارب حمشة ساعات صبينا تملي هنمسكم من أخوات على مرزلهم. Thank you so much.
In Tigrinya, Ibn Ara is gonna rip me apart.
Oh, he's ready. We're all ready. There you go.
I'm just
Thank
kidding.
you guys.